PWAs offer you the reach and accessibility of web applications combined with the features and user experience of native apps. And you need to know how to handle them in Next.js, because last week the first official docs page was posted explaining us how to accomplish progressive web apps with Next.js. And yeah, I also had some fun with it, and I will tell you even more best practices to make your app feel very, very native at the end of the video. But first, quick reminder, what is a PWA? A PWA is a progressive web app. What does that mean? It means you can install this app, so it's basically just a website or a web app, a website with some app functionality, and you can download it to your device and use it like a native app, but it is not a native app. It is just the web page. But yeah, you get this feeling of more nativeness. Yeah, there were a lot of things going around with PWAs in the last time. Apple has banned PWAs completely from the market in Europe, but they just decided to not do it, and yeah, we really don't know what's going on, but you can still use PWA. PWA is a nice thing, and I think that this is going to be a big thing in the future, but more on that later in the video. But yeah, let's dive right into the code, how to accomplish a good PWA with Next.js. And yeah, we take our starting point with a new file. The file is called manifest.ts. This is a TypeScript file, so all you can see can be done dynamically, but I will show you the static way. And yeah, basically, don't wonder, I'm just copy pasting now, because this is what you can take from the Vercel or from the Next.js docs. In a little bit different, but I will go through that now. So I changed it to my app. This is just the example application I have here. This is called Vaki. It's basically a flashcard app for learning anything, maybe languages, maybe, I don't know. But it's not, you can't use it yet. I mean, not in a full functionality. I'm still building it. And yeah, I want to support PWA as well. So yeah, you specify a manifest, and the manifest is basically the entry point to a PWA. So the PWA needs to know some things. For example, what is the name that is shown on the, I know, where's my phone? Oh, I'm recording with my phone. That was bad, but yeah, on your phone, your apps, they have a name and they have an image, and these are things you specify here. So you say a name, you say a short name. The short name is, I think, the name that is shown, and the name is the name that is shown when you install it. A little bit tricky. Description, I don't know if you see that, but I think you see that when you're installing it. Start URL, so what is the starting point of your application? The display standalone is very, 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 very beneficial, or you really need that, because this is telling you, no, don't load it in Safari or any other browser, Chrome. Load it as a standalone thing. So there's no browser. You don't have the browser feeling, and that's very good. Yeah, and then you have some background color, theme colors, play around with it, do what your company or what your brand is needing, and you specify these two icons, one for 192 and one for 512. More on that later. The next thing we need to do, so this is basically the manifest, just like that. Very, very easy. But now we have one problem. We need more images, because a PWA is basically, yeah, you have your image for the small app icon, but this is different on laptops than on mobiles. And then you want to have something like a loading screen, because what is the typical thing when we open an app? It loads up. We see something like a splash screen, and this is missing. You can do it. And this tip is not inside of the Next.js docs. So what I'm going to show you is now my way of doing it, but it works really well. So yeah, what we need is basically that. And I know this looks like a mess, but it isn't. I will go through this. This is just a PWA asset generator, and it's generating images for us. So what we need to specify is a logo, the logo of our application. For me, that's Vaki icon.svg inside of the public folder. You can see it here. It looks something like that, as you can see here. Just a very simple logo. And yeah, you need to specify it here. Also, you need to specify where your web manifest is saved. Some time ago, it was called site.webmanifest, but this is now old, and we are now at app directory, and it's just web. No, it's not web manifest. It's just manifest.ts, as you can see here. So now we have some padding, some calculation stuff. You can play around with it. It's slightly changing the visuals of it, but you don't need to. So now we have this linear gradient here. I get rid of that because I just don't need it, and get rid of this -b for background. This looks very good, and we just click enter. And maybe in the first time this will not work for you. It could not work for you, but maybe let's see. Yeah, I think that's a common error thing. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, it gives me strange errors, and now it's still doing the things. I just type it again and just click enter again. And yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it's not. It's not the best approach, but the approach that Next.js is telling you is not very good working, or is not having these splash screens. And you really want these splash screens, because if you take a look now, and these are a lot, I know, but if we take a look, then we zoom out. This is, for example, for laptop, I think. This is for smartphone. So if you open the app, you see that, and that's very cool. That's like a loading screen, and you can't accomplish that in any other way in the PWA instead of this way. So this way is the good way. And yeah, now we have the splash screens. But what we don't have is we haven't connected them to our application now. So what we need to do now is to go into our layout T6 and to get some metadata in here. And again, I'm just copy pasting it because I already have wrote it, and it's a lot. My tip for you is to generate this maybe with ChatGPT, or just go into my code and copy it, because we need to specify all those images we have generated now to two things. We have the URL, where is it? And then we have the media file and the media tag. And the media tag is telling, or the PWA is telling, when to use which image. So on a laptop, use a laptop image. On a phone, use the phone image. And on the iPhone 15, use the iPhone 15. On the iPhone 14, the iPhone 14. And that's why we have so many splash screens in here. I know it's not perfect, but it's working. But what else do we have here? We have this exported constant metadata. And we have those simple normal things like these here, title, description, and so on. We have the icon specified. So these are all icons we have in here, and we got from this tool I showed you. And here we say capable true. This is very, very important. The status bar style is very, very important, because this can be a mess. What the status bar style is doing, I really need something to drink. Wait a minute. Oh, the camera is moving a little bit. Enough drink. Okay, the status bar style is how this part on top of your phone is looking. So you can say black or default, or you can say black translucent, and this makes it, translucent. So, or transparent would be a better term here. So you can see through it, and that's more like the native app approach. So this looks already very good then. I will show it to you in a minute. So we have all these startup images, and that's it for the layout TSX. So that's what we need to do inside of here. Let's just use this simulator here, and I have this app already loaded up. It's hosted by Vercel, and yeah, it's not perfect. Don't blame me about anything. I'm just starting right out with that. So it's just in Germany we say in child boots, but I don't think you say that in English. So what you can do is you can click this button and you say add to home screen. And this is the short name I mentioned, and here's the image, and then you can say add. And now you have it on your home screen like a normal native app. So like Context Watch, and you have Vaki. Vaki is the application. So we can click on that, and you see the splash screen. Doesn't that look great? That's it. We have this native app feeling, and yeah, that's it. We don't see it's a browser. And the reason you don't see it's a browser is because I have some extra tips for you. And that's what we talk about now. I just let this thing here on the right. And doing the things I told you now will not serve you the most native approach or most native feeling, but you want the most native feeling. So what I'm going to give you now is some extra tips, some extra sauce. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a Tailwind plugin. You can install it with this npm install Tailwind display modes. And when you install it, you need to just configure it in the Tailwind configs. So you have plugins, and then you say require Tailwind CSS display modes. And what this gives you is you can specify things like standalone now. So you can check if the user is in standalone mode and can change the styles depending on that. And this is really helpful. Maybe you want to have some different functionality or some different UI or something like that in the PWAs than in the web version. You can do it with that approach. The next thing is you don't want that your app is scalable. So you know that you can zoom in. This is a web thing, but this is not an app thing. So what you can do is to say, or to export the constant viewport and then set user scalable to false and also maximum scale to 1. And maximum scale to 1 is doing that you don't get this zoom in feature when you type into an input field, for example. So this makes your app feel more like a phone or more like a native app, because native apps doesn't support these features that websites support. And for the next thing, we jump into the globals.css, and here on the body, I specified something called WebKit tab highlight color transparent. And what this is doing is that if you hold down on a link, you get this browser type of thing that it's changed a little bit the color, and you see you marked it, and this is just a browser thing. This is not normal in a native app. So what you can do is to just set this to transparent so your app feels more native again. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is, will PWAs play a role in future? And I would say yes. Yes, because there are a lot of advantages. You have cross-platform compatibility. You have improved user experience in comparison to web. You have easier distribution. You don't need the App Store stuff. You have more SEO, so search engine optimization benefits, and there are so much more. And I really hope that Apple is doing a step in the right direction, because Steve Jobs once said, in the future, everything is PWA. So I hope this is going to get reality. But yeah, let's see. Last thing is, if you want to see how notifications work or how offline support is working, just write a comment and let me know that you want to see that, because then I make videos about that as well. This was just a small introduction, but this was everything you need to know to set it up correctly. Yeah, if you like that, subscribe, like this video, and yeah, thank you. Bye bye.